So if you say, hey, Brandi, I need a system that can do A, B, C, D, I will create that system for you because I feel like companies shouldn't have to adapt to a system. They should have a system that adapts to their needs. And there's really nothing like that out there at an affordable rate. So that's my
Mm.
goal, is to get companies what they need.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Entrepreneur and Leaders Evolution series, where we work from mindset to skill set, all the stuff in between to help you in life and business to optimize yourself. Today, I have a special guest with me. Her name is Brandi Fox. She is the CEO of BTE, that is Business and Technology Ecosystems. She has been in business for 15 years strong. And so we are going to pick her brain and learn a little bit today. So welcome, Brandi.
Thank you so much, Nina. Dr. Nina. I like to respect the doctor because it ain't easy to get. So thank you so much, Dr. Nina. I really appreciate this opportunity to come on and connect with you about entrepreneurship, what it looked like, and the good things, bad things, and everything in between.
Because let's face it, everything you see, it's almost always the good things. Nobody gets into the real of it. That's a part of this today. So, okay. So I'm gonna jump right in. We're not gonna waste time for the audience. So before we get into, everything, tell us what you do, who you serve, but more importantly, what pulled you into entrepreneurship and helping others grow their business?
Yeah, so listen, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. And I know people say that, but when I say it, I really mean it. Like, I started my first little business in 5th grade. I used to sell lip gloss rings. Um, Real quick, I went to the Family Dollar and I saw my mom used to always let us go to, back in the days when that's when all the toys was $1.
Oh yeah, oh
So my
yeah.
mom would be like, hey, y'all go to the back, get you a couple toys. I'm like, man. So I go back there and a girl love her lip gloss. So I saw it and it was, you could put it on your finger and you got lip gloss all day. I'm like, oh, this is great. So I wore it on the bus the next day and all the girlies was like, what is that? And then it had different scents too. So it smelled like
Mhm.
blueberry and red. So I was the girl. They was like, where you get that? Where you get that? I was like, I got more at the house. I was like, you could buy it. And they was like, I'll buy it. So you get 6 in a pack for $1. I sold them for 50 cents. So I started making a profit. I'm like, okay, like, shoot, that's a little profit. So my mom was such a big supporter. Like, anything I do, she's always been down. So I was like, Ma, I got to go back to Family Dollar. And I used to go back and I used to buy the whole rack. So that was my first business. And then after that, I just was always intrigued in being able to solve problems. Like, whatever the issue is, I've always liked to find ways to monetize a need. Now, I didn't
Mhm.
know what that was then when I was younger, but getting older and getting into entrepreneurship, I'm like, this is my lane. So from there, 7th grade, I used to sell, I don't know if you remember, everybody used to make the little friendship bracelets with the little string and you can weave
Yep.
them in. So I got into that. So I used to go to Michael's and I would buy it by the pool and I would measure it and I would sell it by the yard. Listen, so I would pull it out my book bag. I had my scissors and I sold it by the yard. And if you wanted me to start it for you, I charged you for that too. You know what I'm saying? So I did that my whole 6th grade year. That was money. And then when I got to high school, I started braiding hair. So like I've always been in it. But I would say as an adult, like my first business, Pamper Us Mobile Massage Service, that's what I've owned for 15 years. We just celebrated 15 years last Wednesday, actually. So
Congratulations.
thank you. So for that one, that's my baby. That's my heart. I'm excited that I'm at a point where I don't have to be in it as much. I have a team that runs it. So that was exciting. That was one of my goals by year 15 to be out of that business. And I was able to get out December 2024. So I cut
All
it right
right.
there. I made it. But that business taught me, that was the foundation of entrepreneurship, because back in 2011 when I started it, there was no incubators. There was no startup business classes.
Yep.
You had to know somebody that knew what they were doing. And
Good
at that
old
time,
networking.
networking. But at that time, I'm 21. I was married at 19. I had a daughter. I was in school. So I didn't have the time. So I was like, so I really tried and error that business.
Mhm.
I literally made a mistake. I Googled a lot and I just did the best I could. At year 5, I quit my job as a social worker and I went full time. And that was a whole nother thing. Now it's like,
Oh
oh my
yeah.
God, like my life depends on it now. But I started being an entrepreneur consulting agency because I wanted to help entrepreneurs avoid the trial and errors that I started with.
Mm.
I wanted to give affordable support because at that time, even though, and I started that in 2018, and even though there were consultants out there, they were charging crazy prices. So a lot of startup, I remember I had a shoestring budget. I self-funded myself all the way until 2016. So yeah, 5 years, So I was like, I got to do something that can help people. So that led me into starting Be the Entrepreneur, affordable startup business support, specializing in entrepreneurs in years 0 through 2.
0 through 2. All right. So is that who you serve presently?
So yes and no. So with me transitioning October 2024, I transitioned into AI. So with the transition to AI, that did expand my target market because of course, a lot of times 0 to 2 years, they haven't even got there yet. So
Mhm.
now my new target market is established business that are looking for AI to automate their current processes or build custom systems. So
Okay.
yes, yeah, my 0 to 2 is still my heart. Then my babies, I'll never let them go because they're always going to need somebody, not specifically me, but somebody like me to get them there, but I have transitioned into a different market as well.
And I think that's what one thing I'm hearing is transition, flexibility, adapting, moving, right? Growing as the demand needs it. I think that alone is, a nugget for people to pick up on. You have to be willing to shift and move when it's time. Okay. So you're at this intersection with AI, business planning, because
Mhm.
I checked you
Yep.
out, and like grant funding and those kind of things. And a lot of entrepreneurs are super excited about AI, but then there's this gap. There's a gap between using the tools and actually seeing results in their business. So where do you see people falling short when it comes to implementing AI in a way that like it's gonna help, gonna be efficient and actually help?
So I would say the biggest gap is people are too caught on the shininess of AI. So
Mm.
instead of getting the tool, learning it, mastering it, and letting it be your tool, as soon as something new come out, they're like, oh, let me get this. Let me try this one. Let me try this one. And to be honest, I would say the biggest thing about AI that's really crazy is that it's changing by the day. Like when I first got into AI, I signed up for all the AI blogs. Like I wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah.
And I had to unsubscribe because it got overwhelming. They were
Mm.
sending emails every day. Like they'd be like, hey, this the best new thing out here. And I'm like, okay. Then I get an email 4 days later. Forget what we told you before. This the new greatest one. And I was getting overwhelmed. They was like, we got AI for this, AI for that, AI for that, AI for
Mm.
that. So I was like, let me unsubscribe and let me really hone in on what I want to use AI for. And I
Hmm.
think that's what the gap is too. People are they're trying to get a quick solution to their problems and they're not truly identifying what their problems are so they can make sure they can directly address it. They just going with whatever people say is the new thing that's out there.
Very good point. So that brings me to a whole that just led to another question. What would you say? A lot of people like I want to use AI. They don't know how to use it within their businesses or ways they can use it. So I don't know what would be maybe the top two or three things. And I know every industry, every type of business is different. So maybe on the general,
Yeah.
ways of like what could be helpful for people and where to start and make it useful.
Definitely. So I tell people all the time, I am a flip chart girly. And if you don't know what flip charts are, they like big poster boards that you can stick on your wall and brainstorm. I like those over dry erase boards because I get to roll them up and I can keep them for later. Because
Well,
sometimes I just
gotcha.
need to kind of have a brand up. Like I might be thinking of something. I'm like, I got to get it off my mind. And then I'll roll it up and I'll save it for later. So I tell all of my entrepreneurs that I work with, get you a set of flip charts and write down. And you gotta I call it a brain dump, but write down everything that's wrong in your business. Don't think
Mm.
about the structure. Don't think about what it looked like. Don't think about what it sounds like. That initial dump is just for you to get it off your brain. So
Mm-hmm.
once you do that, just write everything down, however long it takes. Then you take those flip charts and you organize them into systems. So, hey, I need this for operations. I need this for marketing. I need this. So then that's when you do your separate flip charts and you break them into categories. Then once you get into categories, now you know exactly what the gap is, what's
Mm.
wrong per category. Then you just find the tool that matches those gaps. So I think a lot of times, and I don't think it's always their fault as an entrepreneur. We're always running and going. And, even with me having people running, I'm still running and going. So I think we take AI as just a quick way to do things, which it is, but not understanding that AI is still data. It's a database
Right,
system. It's
right.
not a create system. It's not made to create. It's made to take data and align it to a prompt. So I think if you plan first, even though it might take some time, it might take you 4 hours, it might take you a couple of days, but if you plan
Mhm.
first and go in with a solution-based mindset and get things that actually meet you where you are.
Man, y'all better be taking notes on this, okay? Because that is like a reverse engineer. That's not what people are doing. They're like shiny object syndrome. Go buy this, this, and that, and then it's like, okay, now how do I make this work in my business? What can I do
Right.
with this thing I just bought to
Yeah.
make it work? And you're saying, start with the business and then get something that fits into your business needs.
Yeah, and I think people got to remember, tech is good, but old school will never go out of style.
You
Like
know?
having a pen to a paper, it's just something about it that would never. I have even to this day, I got stuff in my notes, but I got notebooks everywhere right now. I got notebooks with ideas for next year, 5 years, tomorrow, today,
Yeah, look.
different businesses. But I tell people like you got to go back to the foundation. Got to be old school. Now, once
Right.
you get started, you can get all techy and innovative, but what I've learned is the foundation of business is consistent across every industry, any brand. And if you start there, it's going to allow you to build it the way you want to. But a lot of people don't want to do that. They want to skip to the branding. They want to have a photo shoot, and you having a photo shoot and you don't even know who your target market is. So you don't even know if your
I know,
photo
right?
shoot is going to be accepted by it,
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Exactly. So I love AI. Going back to what you said, I love AI. It has been a game changer for me, literally. Just from January to today, it's been mind blowing the opportunities that have came. But I will say that's came definitely from the foundation of understanding what my needs are, what I want to do, and what my outcome is.
Man, I like it. I like it. And I think what people do nowadays is they jump to AI for what you just said, do old school, right? Like people will jump to that on brainstorming and doing the thing. But I really like how you like it. You need to kind of do that. Let that come from here first. Let that come from your dome, your brain, you process, and then use it, as the secondary piece. Step
Yeah, to
two.
refine
Okay.
it, to outline it.
Yes,
And
I
that way
like
it's
it.
still yours too. Because the other thing people don't realize is when you're prompting, if you're not specific in your prompt, you getting the same thing that everybody else get. If you say, hey, create me a business plan for a food truck, I'm in Charlotte. And it's gonna give you the same outline of anybody else that said the same thing. So I always want to give it me first and you work around build for me. I don't never like it to go from scratch because I don't know who idea this is. I don't
Mhm.
people forget that AI, any type of LLM platform, large language model, that's kind of what AI, Claude, all that is. All of these things are literally open data sets. So it's
Mm.
taking everybody's information that they prompt
Yep.
and they providing it to other people. That's
Yep.
it.
Yep. Okay. I like it, man. I like it. So what I like about this is I use AI, right? So I use it. You got two thought schools of thought on this thing. I do use it, but I use it in that way, right? Like I think I gotta do it off my own dome. I gotta think through stuff first and then let it yield. Cause you gotta keep your critical thinking skills sharp.
You
You
got
got to.
to.
It needs to come from you first and
It
then let
gotta
it
come
build.
from
I
you.
agree with that. Okay, good, good, good. I want to shift a little personal.
Okay.
You've been in the game for a while. So was there like a defining moment, or just maybe not defining, but just a moment in the journey as an entrepreneur and a leader, right? 15 years, you're wearing both of those hats, where things just kind of they clicked or they didn't click, and it forced you to evolve your approach in your business.
I would say that came when it was time for hiring people to run my business for me. That
Mm,
was a really big shift. I had grown and I was really by this time Be the Entrepreneur had started to really grow. My business plans was growing. Like everything I was doing in the consulting was starting to grow and I couldn't grow it the way I needed to running my mobile spa business full time. So I was like, okay, I gotta hire somebody. But like I told you, Pamper Us, that's my baby. You know what I'm saying? I started from a Google search. So, I was really stressed about it. And I went through about six assistants before I found the two that's running it now. So for me, I would say learning how to adapt,
mm,
being willing to let go, understanding that you built the product that's ready to go for somebody else to run it, which is the goal of entrepreneurship. To
right.
be a true entrepreneur, the goal is always to have an exit plan. You know what I'm saying? Even if that exit plan is I know a lot of restauranters and stuff, they like to say, because they just love what they do. But it's a difference between loving what you do and coming in 2 days a week and doing it, then I have to be
You
here
have to
or
be
we're
there.
not making money. I feel like with any business, you have to begin, think about it with the end in mind. What is my end game for this? And for me, it was to not have to work my business every day. So that was transition for me, delegating, trusting somebody to run it the way I run it. And I will say it was very discouraging going through those 6 people. I'm like, maybe it's me. But when I talked to my mentor, she was like, no. She was like, you know what you need for this business to run. Stay steadfast, keep
Yeah.
going. So I'm like, all right. She was like, you gonna find the people, and when you do, you gonna know. And she was right. I found them and it clicked, and it worked.
Okay. So what I'm hearing, that pivotal moment was you said letting go, but also it wasn't just letting go, it was like trusting someone to like take your baby, the baby that you've
My
been nurturing
baby.
all this time. Okay.
Exactly.
Did you have to do anything in here to help you get to that place of, okay, I can let go. I can give it over and hand the keys.
For sure. So I am a Christian. I'm a woman of faith. So it was really me locking in with God. I had my first official successful fast like October 2024. And that's actually what transitioned me into AI was that fast. But when I did that, I told God, I'm like, it's no way for me to move into this new space unless, I find somebody. So I was really, I prayed a lot about being aligned with the right people. And
Uh-huh.
what's funny is one of the girls that I fired, I actually hired her back. And that's who's on my team now. And she's amazing. She is so amazing. I mean, she's just about a mini me. By the end of this
Mm.
year, she gonna be all the way there. Being able to forgive, being able to understand, having discernment to know who you want on your team. I think those are big things. But I would say my faith really kept me in alignment because I knew that God wouldn't give me this. Not for 14 years, you know what I'm saying, and let it fall apart. So my goal was to do my part and then just put it in God's hand that He would do His part to sustain it.
Mm. Sounds like some strong leadership skills right there. That's what that is. And to scale, y'all hear it, to scale, everybody always talking about scaling and growing. You're going to have to trust and let go and delegate a bit to get there, right? And that's hard. That's hard for entrepreneurs, high performance leaders. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. Okay. I wanted to circle back just to make sure it's clear for the audience of what are the things? So you are now in AI work for the most part. And so
Yeah.
like what are the main things that you provide as a service?
Yes. So, be the entrepreneur. January 2026 this year, I broke it into 3 pillars. What three kind of DBAs doing business as. So I have Be the Entrepreneur AI Consulting. That's where I still do my consulting, but I do it from an AI standpoint. So really going into systems and automation. Then I have my
Okay.
nonprofit, the AI Business and Career Lab. That has been the one that has really exploded. And that's basically where I go into underserved communities and I teach them how to use AI for workforce development.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
IT training, construction, we take them through learning how to do it with AI, getting apprenticeships, and then getting hired. So that's my baby that I have going on now. And then BT AI Tech, that's my other baby. That's where I basically build custom systems for entrepreneurs. So if you say, hey, Brandi, I need a system that can do A, B, C, D, I will create that system for you because I feel like companies shouldn't have to adapt to a system. They should have a system that adapts to their needs. And there's really nothing like that out there at an affordable rate. So that's
Mm.
my goal is to get companies what they need.
Okay. Now speaking on that last baby of yours is the entrepreneur focus in my work and for the audience. So in my work, I work with entrepreneurs and leaders. I see the gap between like knowing what to do and actually doing it consistently, especially when the stakes get higher, right? So where you probably meet them at this point, right? And sometimes that shows up like hesitation, second guessing decisions. Maybe they're not following through on the plans and the things that you giving them, like you're seeing these slow down moments that kind of coming up, right? With the stuff you can give them a plan, but there's something bigger that's causing them to not execute, on the roadmap. I see that.
Hmm.
Overthinking, perfectionism, could be habits, whatever it is, whatever. It could be 1,000 things. But a lot of my work, it actually focuses on helping people strengthen their internal patterns, mindset, habits, resilience, those kind of things, right? And to get your goals aligned with the strategy. So, from your perspective, how does this show up in in your clients with you work with, especially those entrepreneurs that you just mentioned? And how does it ultimately impact their results in business if they don't address it?
I would say it's a big barrier. And I will say how I operate. I'm not a hounder. Like, you know how you work with somebody and they call in the email consistently. Of course I do my check-ins, but for me, I have a policy, and that's the good thing about having a business as a second business and not your primary. You gotta want to work. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I tell people when they meet with me, I'm not your mom. I'm not your boss. You know what I'm saying? I'm not your boo. I am your business consultant. So my goal is to consult you in the areas that you said that you need help in. So I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna give you a strategy, but at the end of the day, you got to do that strategy. And I have clients, and I've had all spectrums. I had the ones that's paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars and got the stuff, and they just didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yep.
I got the ones that everything I put down, they got to check like,
They
Brandy,
own it.
I did this. But I will say the ones who followed it, those are my ones that I've written business plans for, and they've been able to open their brick and mortar. Like the people who have followed what I've said, and not even trying to be like arrogant or anything like that, but just in general, that do the process and put in the work, they are, I would say about 90% of those clients are successful unless it's something outside. You know, of course, sometimes it's funding and stuff, but in general, they're about 90% more successful. You know, and I will say one of the things that you said that I will say a lot of my entrepreneurs struggle with is that perfectionism. You know,
Mm.
they get on social media, they see all these people. I started from here, I went here, not understand that a lot of these people are lying, not trying to
True.
be funny, but
True. No,
they're
no, true.
lying. Yeah, and they like, I can't do it if I ain't got A, B, C, D. And I tell anybody, I'm a 70% girly. If I can get that thing 70% locked in, that last 30%, I'm winging it. Like I'm
Mhm.
just going I'm just going to let the chips fall where they may. Because in entrepreneurship, there is no 100%. There is
Yep.
nothing you can say, I'm going to drop this and the world going to change, because you don't know until you drop it. So what you do is you
Exactly.
get 70% together, you drop it, and you get it to that 100 by making those adjustments. Okay, this didn't work. Let me change this. Let me add this. Let me, Facebook ain't doing good. Let me put more money on Instagram. So you got to check it too. People think like I'm supposed to just post and boom, it's gonna happen. No, it's a fixing process.
Mhm.
That's why you think about it. All these big companies, they doing surveys every time you get off the phone. Or they're not doing that because they want to take your time. They want that data because they want to make sure that their company is running the way it needs to run. So if a multi-billion-dollar company is checking in, why do you as an entrepreneur, a startup, feel like that you're not supposed to check in on the systems that you putting in place?
Boy, I'm telling you, y'all better be taking notes. Y'all better take some notes. But I see this a lot, like with the people, the clients that I'm working with, right? They come to people like you, right? They come to different consultants for different reasons, and they're coming to me because they came to a consultant and they didn't execute, right? So
Uh-huh.
it's like
Yep. Yep.
you go to the consultant to leverage their expertise and time so that it doesn't take you as long. This is why you go. So then it always baffles people, like, why would you not execute? Or why would you not follow through on the plan? If you do, like you said, 90% of the time, it's going to do well because you just leverage the expertise you just paid and invested in. So it's just a deeper issue, right? There's more mindset, habits, and resilience issues that are going on there when people don't do it, even though they know they should. So it comes up in every business. I always like to see how it comes up with everyone that I'm talking to and how it shows up. So you're like, you better, well, I'm on a podcast, so I'm going to be nice. You better, I was thinking about,
Come
because I was about
in.
to say
Yeah.
something that I can't say on here, so we're
I'm like,
not
Dr.
gonna go
Nina, I
there.
didn't even know you was like that.
It's like you better get off the pot, basically.
Hey, listen, that too. I second that one for real. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing from you. Like you better bring it.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I want to pick your brain about some of the other things you do. You are into grant funding, correct?
Yes. So I'm actually transitioning out of that 331 only because AI grant writing, I love doing it. I like, once again, everything I do for Be the Entrepreneur. I even have a heart in my business. It's all passion based. So of course I'm gonna make a profit, but I try to make sure that I'm at least 30% less than my competitors when you get my services. So
Okay.
I love grant writing. I was able to get a lot of companies, a lot of good money, but grant writing is very, very time consuming. But what I will say about it, if we come to like tips and preparations for people who are doing their own grant writing, I would say number one, make sure your business aligns with the grant, close
Mm,
enough. And for me, like I told you, I'm 70%. If you can make a business about 70% close to a grant, you can kind of align it to go. And what I mean for that is, let's say if it's a sports grant out there and you have a gymnastics studio. Some people consider, it a sport, some not. I mean, let's not even say gymnastics, let's say dance, because that's the one that's a little on the edge. Learning how to position your business to match the grant. That's what a lot of people, they be like, oh, well, I got a dance studio, so I can't do sports. But hey, it's all about how you word it. If you word it right, this could be a sport. You know what I'm saying? So I would say grant writing is all about being creative to what the grant needs. And a lot of people got to understand too, alignment. Make sure that whatever they say they looking for, they're not playing. If they asking for 1 through 8 and you get them 1 through 6, they throwing the whole application away. So a lot of people don't read. So when you do those grants, read it that first time just to see what's going on. Make sure you eligible. You will be amazed how many people then put in grants they're not even eligible for.
They're not
Y'all, before you
eligible.
do anything, I never thought I would have to say this, but please read the eligibility requirements. Say 10,000 for a startup. For this grant, you might not be considered a startup because every grant has its
Right.
own definition of what a startup is. So once you check the criteria and you meet it, the next thing you want to do is read the full grant in its entirety. Because some of these grants, they asking for your firstborn, your blood, your social security number, passport. They want everything you got. So for some of those, and then they trying to pay you $7,000. I'm not doing this 8-hour grant. You know what I'm saying? To a certain, depending on where you are. Some people, every dime, but you're asking for too much. So also capacity. And I would say lastly, align it with the grant. Whatever they're asking for in detail, make sure it's real and make sure your information is true, because with these grants, they're going to verify.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to ask where this money went. So I would say prepare to track your funding. Do not think you're going to get this money and be able to spend it however you want to, because within 3 to 6 months of you getting that money, they're going to hit you up. They're going to be like, hey, let me see your budget. What have you spent this money on? And if you can't show them what you spent the money on, they're going to make you repay that whole grant, and they're going to bar you for being able to get money. So I would say make sure you're in alignment, research, complete in its entirety, manage your funds.
Okay. Well said. Thank you for that. I will take that to heart because, we all can use a little extra money in the businesses. It doesn't hurt.
All the money. I like even pennies. They didn't got rid of pennies. I take pennies.
Take them too.
100 pennies is $1.
Now, I try to balance the entrepreneur and the leader side because I got to give it to both.
Of course.
So let's tap into the leader side, right? You can't be in business 15 years and not be a leader. So as a leader, you're running your businesses with an S and a team. What's something you've had to learn or unlearn? Sometimes that's the thing about leadership that's made you more effective.
I had somebody I hired and they almost took me out, almost took Pamper Us to the ground. And it took me almost a year to get it back up because what they said they can do. And I had another business I was running, so I wasn't in it. But when I started seeing my Google ratings going, I'm getting 1-star reviews. I probably got one over a 7-year time period, but I done got 4 in 3 months. That was a red flag. Clients complaining, my loyal clients, my staff complaining. So I'm like, okay, I got to get her out of here. But I held on to her too long. As soon as I saw the first decline, I should have went on and fired her, but I was like, no, I'm just going to wait. I'm still working on this business. I was too focused on the new one that I almost lost my old one. So I would say if you seeing red flags, and I'm not saying fire somebody off the rip because as you know, that's not their business. So they're still learning. I have a 3-strike rule just because I'm a mom too. So, you got to give a little grace. So my first time, if you're doing something incorrectly after I've trained you, and I'm always accessible, I'm like, hey, first time I'm giving you a warning. Hey, this can't happen. Bop, bop, bop. Second time, I'm cutting your pay. Hey, especially if it's something I got to reimburse, I'm getting that out your paycheck. Then the third one, I'm firing you. And I will say it's very hard. Like my first person I fired with Pamper Us, I remember I cried after I fired her. And I was just so sad because that's somebody's job, that's their livelihood, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So I would say as soon as you see something is wrong or they not in alignment with your business and you know who's in alignment, go ahead and let them go so you can make room for somebody who can fill that position adequately.
Ooh, I think that's the biggest thing. It's the internal struggle of why we hold on to people as long as you need to let them go. It doesn't feel good to do it.
They got bills, but I'm like, shoot, I got kids, I got bills too, and you taking me down. Like it's either me or you, baby, and I got to choose me on this one.
Okay, yeah, and I like that. And it's not about being cold, right? It's they're meeting the standard or they're not meeting the standard. That's what I'm hearing. And then you give them the expectation, you give them training, some course correction. If that's not working, you got to deal with your own internal struggle of why you ain't doing it and think about the business and the objective point. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, for
So
sure, and be
fire fast.
clear.
That's some
Yeah,
good
fire
advice.
Get them out of there. And I will say, when you let them go, even personal relation, anything, I'm very clear in why I'm letting them go. And I think it makes it easier because you put the accountability, because it's even about, like, I can't believe she just fired me. So nobody can say I ended anything without them knowing. I'm telling you, hey, I'm letting you go because A, B, C, D. Once you put it out there like that, there's no denying it, because these are facts of occurrences that have documented that, that I've addressed with you and you couldn't get it together. So I would say a good leader too is having effective communication, because I've seen bad terminations. I've seen people do it through
Hmm.
text. I've seen people just, some people did nasty, and it don't take all that. As a leader, as a professional, it's a certain type of decorum you have when you speaking to your clients, even when you let them go. So I always give people respect, and I let them know exactly what's wrong. So that way they can't say I'm just firing them. They can take accountability for what they did. And I'm hoping it'll help you with your next job not do the same thing.
I think part of that is just be effective, communicate effectively, right? It's when
Mm-hmm.
people think about leaderships and I want to aspire to be a leader. I want to be a leader. They think about all the good stuff, right? I want to affect change and transform cultures and all the good things, right? No, nobody thinks about the downside that comes with that, which is like, you might have to let somebody go.
Mm-hmm.
You're the gatekeeper for a reason, and so there's some things you might have to have some hard conversations and these kind of things. So you got to be able to communicate effectively and be upfront. So I really like that. I really like that. Fire fast, y'all. Fire fast,
No
but have your
problem.
standards, right? Like we ain't just cutting them off, mistake number one. So I like that. Okay. Any other just to wrap with the AI, I would like to wrap on that. Is there anything, and I'm gonna keep this one general, that you just feel would be really helpful for anyone in business or leaders that would just be really useful information to have when it comes to blending AI, using AI, being open to AI, all the things, right? That you just want us to know.
Yeah. So I would say the biggest thing is find what works for you, because AI is kind of like music. It's changing, it's updating, but baby, it ain't nothing for me to pop on some OJs. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to stick with what you know. Once you find something, like I said before, once you find something that works for your business, because nobody knows your business like you. I like right now we in a transition, like Chat GPT, everybody's leaving it and they going to
Right.
Claude. Claude is the new, like, everybody's talking
Yep.
about Claude, and that's cool. But for me, I mean, Claude is cool, don't get me wrong, and I've tried other ones. For me, ChatGPT, it does it for me. You know what I'm saying? And I have a lot of people, I built my full empire with assistance from that. So, for me, they like, oh, that's your main one, you ain't left yet? No, it works for me. So I would say be confident in what works for you. And also, if a lot of things that I hear too is people trying to figure out how to make it fit in their business. And what I would say with that is align, or how to make money from it. Align it with what you already doing. A lot of
Mm,
times people are trying to do what's popular, like make videos. I want to do avatars. I want to do this. But if you already got a background in organizational management, figure out how AI can assist you in your background of organizational management. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. You already got the skills, you got the mindset, you know how it works. So use AI to enhance what you already
enhance.
have. And once you
Hmm.
do that, it'll open up the ideas and it'll open up your creativity to do other things. But the easiest way to step your foot in the AI is to tie it to something that you already feel comfortable with and that you already know.
You would think that, like for most, that's kind of common sense, but a lot of times it's not. I actually hear a lot of people in different realms, like just learning AI consultation and going completely different, like a completely 180 off of what they know to do. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. I hope people are listening. These are the easier ways because it feels overwhelming, right? It's overwhelming. It's a lot. If you if you start with what you know and you just go from there and let it enhance, maybe not so overwhelming, right? Like take that
Yeah,
step, take one step. Okay.
exactly.
Well, thank you, Brandi, for coming on. Let us know you're dropping a free resource for the audience. So y'all get a free resource. So let us know about that resource that we will be putting in the description.
Yes. So what I will be doing for Dr. Nina today is for the month of April, I will be doing free consultations, 15 minutes, and these are quick brainstorming sessions. So if you got something that's burning your brain and you like, hey, I just need to talk to somebody that know what they talking about. Because let me tell y'all, some people out here that don't know what they talking about. I am not one of them. So I will be giving out, now mind you, it will only be 10 sessions for the entire month. So the first 10 people that kind of book it, but my goal is to get my information out to you. So if you got something that's burning, you like, hey, I need to talk to somebody, utilize the link with Dr. Nina, and you'll be able to book a session anytime in April to be able to go ahead and get that assistance.
Y'all heard it. Y'all got access. Utilize this, man. Y'all, you pick the brains and leverage the expertise. Thank you so much for sharing this with the audience. Thank you for coming on and sharing yourself with us, your business, your experience, right? And how can we find you? How can people come in and say hi and pop in virtually to you?
Yeah, definitely. So the best way, I'm very active on social media. Instagram is the best way, and it's at B as in boy dot entrepreneur. And that's on Facebook and Instagram. That's the best way to stay in touch. And that's my website as well, www.betheentrepreneur.com. So if you're looking for custom tech solutions, affordable tech solutions, if you want consultations to figure out how to really implement AI in your own way, those are areas that I can definitely help you in.
Okay, y'all heard it. Custom and affordable. Those usually don't go together. So y'all might want to write that down or look at the description and get that. Thank you so much, Brandi. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me on here, Dr. Nina.